Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I'm James, and this is Morton Power Productions, where we focus on the 3 F's: faith, family, and film. And today we are going to be doing my 2022 year in review video. So let's go ahead, get on into the video. Alrighty, guys. So 2020 was a pretty eventful year for me. We moved. We moved twice. We moved to my in-laws' house at the end of the year last year, and then we finally got our own place this year. I got promoted at work. I returned to streaming, but we're gonna go through all of that in this video. But I'm gonna break it down into a couple of different parts. So the first part we're gonna talk about is the move. But to talk about that, we got to jump back a little bit to 2021. Like I said, in October, we moved down to the Tampa, Florida area. I'm from Jacksonville. My wife's family is from here. That's why we moved, is to be closer to her family. We just, everything going on in our lives was in the thick of, or right at the thick of COVID, getting where everything was dying down a little bit. And we felt a strong need to be around family. My wife had been away from her family for at least 2 years at this point. It was probably a little bit more than that, but she was getting a little homesick. And so being the awesome husband that I am, when we decided to move, we prayed and sought the Lord just to make sure that this was the right move, because we were at the time youth pastors at our church in Jacksonville, and that would require us resigning from that position and moving. And it also required us finding housing and jobs. But luckily, the job issue was more of us transferring our jobs, even though my wife's now not with the company she was with when we moved down here. But there was a lot to go into moving. It wasn't just saying, yeah, let's move. We prayed, we sought the Lord, and it was the time for us to make a change in our lives and go into the next step of our lives, which was moving from Jacksonville to Tampa. So on October 16th, 2021, we made the move from Jacksonville, Florida to Tampa. And we were going to stay with my wife's parents for a couple of weeks to a month most. We figured give us some time to find a place, and then we would move from there. So around Thanksgiving, the beginning of December, was when we would be moving. But what we didn't realize is the housing market here in the state of Florida is not great. So finding a place was going to be a lot more difficult than we thought. So we were contacting places left and right. And the story was either the rent was way too high for what we could afford, or there just was not anything available. So in the beginning of January, the middle of January actually, we had just gotten over actually having COVID ourselves, and we made one last ditch effort to find a place, because all we were doing was getting on waiting lists. So we called this place, and they actually had immediate availability. We were able to go in that day, fill out paperwork, and get the process started. And then the funny thing is, finances are always a struggle when you first move into places, because you have to have a first, a last, and a security deposit, which is usually typically equals to 1 month rent. So you're typically paying 3 months rent to move into a place. Well, we were going to have to do what we did in Jacksonville and sell some stuff to make rent, or to make those initial move-in payments. But our God being as awesome as he is, there was a way that we could defer, like not do a refundable security deposit, which lowered the security deposit actually, which makes it not as bad of a hit that we're not going to get it back. And then there's just all the finances worked out. We were able to we found the place and moved in within 3 weeks of all of this happening. So that's the first big moment that happened in 2022, is we actually got into this place. What we had decided to do was, I knew 2022 that I was going to do some kind of content creation. I was doing 5-Minute Friday videos, which have not happened lately, but will be happening. So we did 5-minute Friday videos, and I just wanted to. I was vlogging, as inconsistently as I was doing it, and just wanted to step up my game a little bit. So I put the plans together to build this room out to be my space. So as we got along, we made the decision, because I felt like I needed to get back into gaming, and I needed something, because was gonna be recording these videos. I was editing these videos on my iPad. This is a 32 gig iPad that I bought LumaFusion on, and that's what I was editing videos on. But it was tough because not enough space, the hardware wasn't great. So I was using what I had, but I needed something a little different, because also with me getting back into content creation and streaming, I got the itch to do more, and I wanted to get into filmmaking. So I decided, what better way to get into filmmaking than to start shooting weddings. And I decided I was going to become a wedding videographer and go from there. And my dream has always been, other than, being a content creator and a musician, was to start my own production company. Take those two loves that I had, content creation and music, and merge them together to create a production company. So with my wife being a photographer, she actually got her Facebook page hacked back in 2021. So she literally lost her photography Facebook page. So I was in the process of about to make her a new page, and then we both got together and we decided, let's just merge the two and become one unit as a production company. So that was the birth of Morton Power Productions. The channel that you're watching right now is the YouTube channel that is the birth of, D&T Photography, which is what her photography business was, and Morton Power Productions. I actually did Morton Power Productions for just this. I was going to use that as my brand for this, but we're going to be working together. We're going to use both of our efforts combined to make a great production company. So all of that to say, we both needed a workstation that could handle her doing raw photos, me doing now was going to be 4K video, and also gaming and streaming. So I get, with my job, it used to be a yearly bonus. Now we're getting them quarterly, but that's not the point. I was going to take a chunk of my yearly bonus that I was going to get in May to buy not a brand new computer, because them things are expensive, and the specs that I wanted, it was over $2,000. But I was going to take a chunk. We budgeted what we wanted, and I looked on Facebook Marketplace. Hindsight's 2020 on that. I would not recommend looking on Facebook Marketplace unless you extensively test and make sure that everything is on the up and up, which I did not. But I bought a PC. I thought it was really good. It still is a really good deal. I got two 1080p monitors, really good 27-inch monitors, keyboard mount, the whole shebang for under $1,500, which was not, the PC probably was a lot less than what I paid for it, but I was, just in the need for something, and now it gives me the room to grow. So we bought the PC in May. I get home, I took the day off just to be able, it was Memorial Day, the one that's in May, Memorial Day, to take off and set up the computer, get everything ready to go. Bought a webcam so I could start streaming. But every game that I got into would crash. And then I would jump into video editing, and I'd get deep into a project and it would crash. So I took it to a PC specialist friend of mine who looked at it and was like, yeah, the GPU's not working super great on this thing, so we're gonna need to replace it. So I waited, and then now that we have a quarterly bonus structure, I was able to take a little bit of that to get a new GPU, which is actually better than the one that was in there, to be able to get the computer up and running. So around that time, I was actually also taking on my first production as a solo production creator, because I was shadowing some friends of ours just to learn a little bit and grow a little bit. But that relationship ended over the summer. So I was on my own now, and we were actually filming. I was going to film my wife. One of my wife's is really good friends. She was a bridesmaid in our wedding. Her wedding in Texas, just right outside of Austin, Texas. And I might just layer some of the footage over what I'm doing, but I literally went into this wedding, and what I used is my wife's Canon T5i for the like the steady cam. Like, I sat it on a tripod, put a 55 to 250 lens on it so that I could capture the ceremony. And then all of my B-roll was shot on my old phone, which is a Motorola 5G or Motorola One 5G, because it could do 60 FPS in 1080. So I was using that to do my slow-mo B-roll. And I feel like it turned out great for my first outing as a solo videographer. And I know it's not the best in the world, but here's my takeaway from it. The end user, which is our friends, the bride and groom, I learned a lot from doing that. And I grew in editing. I learned a lot of techniques on editing from that. Through all of that, it's just another thing that I learned and grew. I got back into streaming. I'm streaming 3 nights a week now, gaming. I'm uploading, 2 videos a week on my gaming YouTube channel, which I will link down below so that you guys can check out. And then I'm also going to be really launching this channel going into 2023. You'll be seeing a video probably in the next week after this video goes live in 2023 of what my goals are for the year. But that was big thing number 2. Big thing number 3 was my promotion at work. I have been working for an electrical supply company for 3 years. I got hired right at the beginning of COVID in 2020. I actually almost didn't get hired because of it, because my company went on a hiring freeze, but the Lord knew that this is what I was doing in the season, so I was able to get in very last minute. And I started as a driver, where I would go deliver material to job sites for our account holding customers that needed material for their jobs, and they couldn't take time to get off the job to go to the store. So I would bring the material to them. And then a year after that, I got to the point where I was wanting to do more on the counter, helping customers, doing all of that. And I did that, and I got promoted to inside counter sales. And then I was actually serving as kind of the quote-unquote interim operations manager who handles purchasing and all of that. I wasn't doing all of that. I was just doing some more of the day-to-day operations at the store. And then we ended up, then we moved. That's when the move happened. And I come down here. I went back to just doing counter sales. And then the opportunity arose that there was going to be some shifts in my district. And I was chosen to be the next, if an operations manager position opened in the district, that I would be one of the ones considered for that. So I was going to be in training to become an operations manager. Well, in June, it got to the point where I was like, I need to be closer to my home. Gas prices were going up. It just, a lot of things were happening. So I wanted to cut my drive time down. So the opportunity arose for me to transfer to another branch. So that now that I cut my drive from 62 miles a day to 1 mile a day. So that was a super huge blessing. I was going to be saving a lot of money in gas, and drive time back and forth to work. And then a couple of months after that, some shifts happened at the branch, and then I got promoted to operations manager. And that has been, my light just cut off in the back. That has been one of the toughest, but actually a great experience, because I am now learning how to be more organized. I'm learning how to manage better and all of these things. So while the job is stressful because it's a management position, it has also been a great learning opportunity to help me in other areas of my life, not just at work. So I've been doing that since August. Now we're going into 2023. Now I'm getting into the crunch time of some other stuff with inventory and everything, but it's been an awesome experience. So that is going to wrap up the 2022 video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I've got some great ideas for 2023 coming up, so be on the lookout for the next video. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Let me know how your 2022 went in the comment section. And then if you have some video ideas for 2023, also drop those in the comment section. And with that being said, we'll see you guys on the next video. Have a great day and have a happy